grow older a little gracefully.
Okay.
More so.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
And I'm her cousin Julie Johnson, and I'm never going to grow old.
Yay.
Gracefully or otherwise.
Very good.
I'm Gasha, and I'm just here to learn.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Nikki, and I'm here to see what you guys do.
Hi, I'm Colette, and I've heard so much about you
Well, thank you.
that I figured I'd love to come and meet you and meet everybody in the group, of course.
Very good. Very
Thank
good.
you.
Very good. Let's give them a hand. Before we leave tonight, okay, please. Now, I'll introduce myself. I'm Dr. Berman, call me Gary. And our class actually started about 25 years ago. I want to give you a little bit of background, a little bit of information so you understand where we're going with this, because this is exciting work that we're on to. About 25 years ago, I was a research physicist over at Texas Instruments, over at 635 and 75. And one night, I was in my office, and I had a lot of interest in biology and the earth sciences, as well as physics. So I held up the spline one night, and I was looking at it, and in this dimension, in this direction, it wasn't very inspiring, because this is just something that holds up our bodies. But when I turned into this direction, looked down this long axis, and saw the ribs, the arms, and the legs, the light went on. I knew immediately that this is an antenna. Now, because of the second law of antenna theory, every antenna transmits and receives information. I had to know what this information was. I had to know what the importance was of this information. What could this possibly mean? How could it help us? So I got really excited about this, and I started thinking, well, if this is a musculoskeletal item, and it's an antenna, who knows best about this type of issue physically? That took me to chiropractors. That led me to Parker Chiropractic University. So I called there, and I was able to speak to Dr. Parker himself, the founder of the school. So he brought me in, we were talking for a while, and he said, Dr. Berman, let me explain what a chiropractor does. He said, a chiropractor doesn't just move bones. We do it, but that's not our primary purpose. He said, we're not just nerve doctors. Yes, we move nerves and work with those. But he said, we are energy doctors. A good chiropractor is moving the energy through the body. Now, I spent all those years in graduate school studying about energy and the flow of energy. When he said that to me, it was like someone hit me in the face. I mean, I couldn't believe that that was part of the solution to my question. We're moving energy. So within 30 days of getting that information, I turned in my resignation. I left TI, and I was in the next chiropractic class. Now, it was funny because I had this long line of people that were greeting me as I was leaving, as they were saying goodbye to me from TI, and they kept asking me, why are you going to chiropractic school? And the only thing I could tell them was, I had to find out what this energy was. How could this possibly help us? It wasn't about just being a doctor, that was not it. It was about trying to understand, what does this mean for us? They thought it was nuts. They thought it was absolutely crazy. That I would give up a job to go after a dream and try to find something that had no answer at the time. It was the best decision I've ever made. So I made it through school, and as I was graduating, I had a dream one night, and just before I was ready to leave and start my practice, this dream told me about a lot of the answers about what was happening with this antenna. Now, from that time, and for the last 20 years, I've been building on this information constantly, trying to optimize it, modify it. And now I think I've got a pretty good idea of where we're going with this and what it means. And that's the purpose of this class. Because the purpose of this class is to learn how to manifest, to utilize this energy, this information that's around us, and to optimize the quality of our life. We started this class actually last September, almost a year ago. We're going to go a lot further with it. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay, now you can ask, well, what is this information? What is it really picking up? Well, let me go back to something. What is this?
Flashlight.
No. It is a flashlight. What else is it?
Transmits energy.
Okay, it's a, keep going. It starts with a T and it ends with an L. It's a tool. It's a tool. It's a tool. Okay? Now, Roger, could you hit the light, please? Or would you stand by that light? Would you just turn it on? Okay. Now, It gets dark, I have to choose the appropriate tool. We use a flashlight, right? Because the energy of the flashlight matches the system that we need, correct?
Yes.
All right, Roger, would you please hit the light? Okay, if I'm going into answering questions about my life, if I want answers on any subject, any issue, no matter what it is, I am metaphorically going into the darkness. The best and only way I know to do that is this. This is our transmitter into that unknown. This is picking up that energy constantly. By the second law of antenna theory, every antenna is transmitting and receiving information. It's the equivalent of that flashlight. It's the equivalent of a pen. This is a tool. It's a living, breathing tool with intelligence. It is magnificent what this can do. Now, the information it's attempting to get are the answers for our life. So it's attempting to give us information and answers for every question that we have, no matter what it is. That's part of what this does, this antenna. But the second part of what it does is also to pick up this energetic field that's around us and also transmit energy. We can transmit our thoughts anywhere in the universe with this. We can affect how people are thinking. We can affect how situations are going with our thoughts. It is a magnificent system that we were given. And people accuse me of being psychic. Well, we all are. Every one of us is psychic. Every one of us is. Okay? Whatever information I've learned, you have the same system working in your body. Now you might ask yourself, well, what stopped you from the past? What's prevented you from getting all the information that's necessary so you can have a fantastically great life? Well, you've got to go back to the fundamentals of this antenna. This antenna is powered by something. Every antenna is powered by some energy source. We have a brain which is powering it with our logic. We have a heart which is powering it with our emotions. And that's our human side. Now, that is a fantastic collection of help right here, our human side, because it can create the Dalai Lama and the Mother Teresa's. But we also can see what it can do in the dark side. And that dark side is very dangerous. We come to the pure light side of us, and now we're going to what I call spirit. And spirit is about 1.5 inches below the navel. That is our connector to God. This is our transmitter to the divine. It's our intermediate. This area right there gives us all the information necessary to tell us who and what we are, whether we're making the correct choices, if we are going in the right directions to achieve one issue and one issue only, our purpose and our destiny. It's there to help us, guide us for our purpose and our destiny. That's the beautiful part about this whole thing. And each one of us was given this. So, this system right here, this energetic system, this spirit system, is always attempting to get through to us. Now, we know it has, on different occasions, gotten through to every one of us. How many people here have ever had prophetic dreams? You've had a dream, okay? You've had a dream where you saw something, okay, and then suddenly it appears later. Can you see that? Show of hands. Look around, look around. Okay, well, congratulations, that's your spirit talking to you. How many times have you thought about a person? Maybe couldn't get to a phone, but a few days later, because you were thinking about them, they called you or appeared at your door. How many people? Yeah, take a look around. Okay, well, congratulations, your spirit was in communication with you. Okay, how many times have you needed help with something, no matter what it was, and suddenly you see it, it's being sent to you in the mail, or someone taps you on the shoulder and gives you some information that you make it connected. How many times has that happened? Well, congratulations, you're speaking to the divine. But my purpose 25 years ago was to turn this from something that was speculative and seems like it doesn't happen very often to something that you're living with every moment. That was the goal 25 years ago. And I can tell you it's worked. It has worked. Okay? So this is where we're going with our classes, to optimize this condition. By the manifesting conditions that we're developing, one of the purposes of the manifesting conditions is to deal with this brain and deal with this heart. I should be dancing now. Right? I should all get up and start doing some dancing. It's okay. All right? Nice music though. Yeah. Puts us in that mood, doesn't it? Okay. So we go to the brain and heart. The best way I found to clear out that system and clear it out the fastest way that I'm aware of is to get back into our manifesting techniques, those 4 steps that we were using last week and the weeks before, and classes before, is to use those areas and clean that out. Any questions so far about this? Okay. Make sense?
Yeah.
Makes sense? Okay. So we're going to clean this out by using a system. Now there may be other methods to do manifesting, I'm sure there are, but the issue is this. The issue is this. The problems with our brain and our heart come from 2 areas. They come from the environment, the people, places, and things that are around us, because you know people and places and things that can try to stop us. But it's not just about the current times. We also have situations that involve our self-stories, the stories that we've created about situations, the should-haves, the would-haves, the could-haves, and they may not just be about the present times. By utilizing our methods, we can go back millions upon millions of years. We can clear out huge records fast. This is probably not, the issues that are stopping us are probably not just connected to this lifetime. And again, I don't know how else we can do this except doing it through energetic mechanisms that work, as we're going to be doing as we go through this class. Now this is not so strange, because Einstein created the general and special theory of relativity in his thoughts first. In his thoughts, he did all of the ideas, and then he went to paper and put all the ideas down in mathematics. This is a common occurrence in science to do this. So we're going to take advantage of this. We're going to clear this out. Okay? The purpose is, so we know without any doubt, no matter what the situation is, that spirit will give us information, it will guide us, and we'll be free then to make the right choices. You don't need me, you don't need anyone else, you'll be able to make the choices for yourself. And also, depending on how this country is going to be going in the world, no matter what's going to be happening in this society, or any place else, you will know what to do weeks, months, years ahead, because you already know what the story is going to turn out to be. And since we already know how the story could turn out, this is a transmitter. It transmits as well as it receives. We could get together as a group. We could get together as larger and larger groups as we train people, and we can send out a better story to help the world progress, and progress well. It's amazing what this can do. It's absolutely amazing what this is capable of doing. Okay? We're going to be moving here. We're going to be moving from this facility. They raised the rent on us by over 40%, and it's not going to get up to about 75% in about 3 years. Now that's okay. It's their building. They can do what they want. So as long as I have a spine and I have a system that's trying to communicate with us, I ask, what should I do? What should I do? It's very simple. It said, for my prosperity, and what does the word prosperity mean to people? What does it mean? For the people that haven't been here before, what does prosperity mean to you, Jackie? What does it mean to be prosperous?
To have sufficiency to live the life I want to live.
Excellent, excellent. I'll add just a little bit to that. That's very good. Health, wealth, relationships, and time. 4 elements. Health, wealth, relationships, and time.
Getting a little short on the time.
Maybe not.
For how old Grandma was when she You're not sure on time yet.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. She'll turn the clock back.
I'm working on that.
I'm only 43 and my 50th class reunion is next year, this little math issue.
How many calls are 22? You got the attitude. Very good. Very good. So, prosperous. Health, wealth, relationships, and time. Okay? I want to start having you think about every decision you have to make from this point. I don't care what it is. Getting out of bed in the morning, coming to class, eating your food. I don't care what it is. All of us, I'm asking you to think about prosperity in those 4 dimensions. Health, wealth, relationships, and time. I asked my spirit, if I stayed here, no matter what I would pay, I don't care what it is, even if they gave me a great reduction of rent, should I stay here? And it goes, no, this is not for my prosperity, for those 4 elements. So then I asked, where should I go? It took me down the road. I found a place. Found a place not far from here called LBJ Towers. It's going to be beautiful because not only is it a nicer building, I'm going to have tremendous capabilities to do many more speeches, bigger rooms. The goal is to get this information out to the world. That's our goal. Okay? So, we now start negotiating over the contract. It's just wonderful when you use these techniques. So they send over the contract, and it's ridiculous. The cost is ridiculous. So I go to my spirit, and I start asking, what should we do? And again, whatever I'm doing has to be fair to both of us. Has to be fair to them, has to be fair to me. So I give them what I think is fair. According to my spirit. They come back, and now they do some other shenanigans, do some other things. This is getting hilarious. So then I ask my spirit, what shall I do? And it goes, now we're going to really show them the power of God. Okay? So it took all the prices way the heck down. Everything, everything. I didn't care what the prices were. It took it all down. And I kept asking, is this fair? Is this fair? I kept going, yes. Is it within my prosperity? Yes. Is it within theirs? Yes. So I kept bringing everything down. I send the contract back. I get an email back from from the gentleman who's negotiating the contract. He goes, I can't agree to this contract. I said, fine. He goes, I have to show it to the owner of the building. I said, fantastic. Now, my spirit told me I should send that contract back last Thursday. It just so happened the owner of the building was out of town on that Thursday. Now, all during the week, from Thursday to this week, what do you think I was doing spirit to spirit with the owner of the building? Because the owner of the building would never have accepted my contract. What do you think I was doing?
You had him in your
You
bubble.
were placing it in your system.
You got it. This is a transmitter. All during, from Thursday, every moment, from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because every moment I was testing the owner of the building. I kept asking, will you accept my contract? No, I won't accept your contract. No. That's what he would say to me, spirit to spirit, no matter what I would do. So I kept working on it, kept saying, look, is this a fair contract? It was. It's good for both of us, it is. But I'll be a credit to your building. I will be. Okay, I kept saying all these good things. I was praising the man, even though I never met him. I don't know who he is, I don't need to. I kept praising. By Sunday night, late Sunday night, he changed. Late Sunday night, he went from no to we can work it out. We can work this out together. Okay, Monday afternoon, we get the email back. The contract they sent back to us is exactly the same contract I sent to them. I got everything we wanted. Okay? Okay, now we're finishing up the details. Okay? This works. This works. Because it not only goes out and gets the information, but it's also sending out a force and multiplies that force for our goodness. And everything we're doing must be based on being fair. They have to win and we have to win. It must be based on our purpose of destiny. Okay? And theirs too. This can be badly misused, but if you try to use it that way, it will destroy you. Okay? So our goal is to learn how to use this and let it help us so we can be a credit to others. That's our goal. Okay? Interesting story, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And it works like this every time. Now, Sherry, I believe you've got a story.
Yes, I do. Danny gave us his great testimonial last week, and my situation is I'm not a manifester. Last week when it took 15 minutes for the meditation, you saw that I had to jump up here because I couldn't last any more seconds. So I told Gary, how long does this take? And you know, I thought it was like 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. It was plenty for me to do. So if anybody else is in my mode that you really think, I can't be a meditator for very long, I have testimonials because I've been doing it for however long we've known the technique, and we've reinvented the technique and it's gotten better and better. But here's just a few examples of what I have manifested by doing the technique in the past couple weeks. I was at my professional convention in San Francisco at an event. A lady sits down, I sit down next to a lady. Now, we had a phone conversation last Monday and I was doing the technique, and now it looks like we're gonna do business together. Now we've gone over exactly what else I need to do so I can bring in exactly the kind of business that I want from this lady and work on her, but you know, what are the chances of that happening? Another thing that happened was, I am planning a trip to Mexico. I had won a trip for 3 nights, and so I thought, well, why not just ask another hotel for some more complimentary nights from them while I go down for my trip. So as of this morning, I got that back, and so they agreed to what I asked for exactly. And it's like, what are the chances of me getting 6 free nights in Mexico just by asking? So that was another example. And then today I woke up to another lead coming because one of my major things is bringing in new business. I woke up to an email from someone, and now I'm working on them also to bring about that business, because that looks like that could be in my highest good and prosperity circle as well. So that's just a few examples in like the last 2 weeks.
And they occurred very easily.
Easily, yes.
No negotiating,
No negotiating,
just asking.
just asking.
Okay?
Right.
Knowing it's part of her purpose and spirit, her destiny, we're allowed to have it. And they're allowed to help us. And we're giving them permission to do so. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you very much. Sure. Any questions about this? Because this is an important concept. I want to make sure we get this right. Any questions about what we're saying about this antenna system, about brain and heart, about utilizing it? Any questions at all?
Nope, I'm doing good.
Doing well? Billy? Billy, I know you got something.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure how to phrase this. I'm thinking because certain parts of my body at different times hurt different ways.
Right.
And I'm thinking, if we can manipulate an antenna, my father was in telecommunications, so I know antennas too. If we can manipulate an antenna
Right.
to open ourselves wider, if that is a way not only to bring things in, bring the good in, but to release pain.
Right, that's right. That's right. So remember what we've said before, this is very good, very good. What we said before is that every situation, every problem we have, every need that we have is based upon working with two ideas. We must work with the energetic systems, like what we've been doing, prayer, meditation, fasting, things like this. Also physically, adjustments, diet, water, exercise, and sleep, you're exactly correct. And we're going to go into more of that later in these classes about how to optimize all the conditions necessary to make this work, both physically as well as energetically. Okay, so you have a very good question. Good. Okay. Anyone else? Please.
Is there a connection with the chakras?
Yes, there is. Marco, I think you were talking about that last week, right? Do you have any information about that? He's our specialist about this since he's been doing this work.
Well, the chakras.
Would you mind standing so everyone can
Sure,
hear?
sure. The
Do you want to?
kind of connects with your question.
Okay.
When you're using the system,
Could you maybe stand out here a little bit so people maybe
No,
can
Brent, so
hear?
you can be on camera.
impromptu. The way I like to use it, I use it with the breathing. So whenever you breathe into a certain part of this antenna, and let's say you're using visualization as well, let's go right into the heart. Say you have some pain in the heart here, straight in the back, connect straight in the back and the front, so two polars here, two opposites. I would just breathe straight into it and feel that tension and let the breath start to relax that tension, and then breathe out and relax even further. At the same time, elongating the spine. So anywhere you feel any kind of tension in the hips, anywhere it goes around the sides, as you're breathing into the different parts of it, the different energy centers that are happening here, you can just use the very, very natural breathing technique.
When you're doing that, do you concentrate on colors? I'm very color oriented.
Okay, so you'll have some colors here. The colors that are the spectrum colors of the natural world. So you'll have the red at the very bottom of the tailbone, orange, yellow, green, like sky blue, indigo into the middle of the brain, and you have the violet at the very top. Those are the seven spectrum colors. And then going back towards the back here is the white light, the extra white light. And as you're breathing, you can breathe all the way down to the bottom, send it out. Breathe all the way down to the next one, send it out. And just go in the pattern, going all the way up and finding the different imbalances that are happening there. Does that answer your question?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw one more thing out. My color, my peace color, the one that makes me relax, that makes me feel good, I love seeing it, is teal, which is light blue and green.
Okay.
And I think that must be settling right here.
It must be in this area, right, between the green and the blue. So the spectrum mixes. You can mix colors, if you've ever been into art, you can take the primary colors and mix different colors off of that. And it just mixes, so we have a beautiful world made of colors and vibrant energy, and use it. There's gold, we use gold here a lot, so gold is, you can use any color you want, really.
So manifestation in action, as soon as you ask me questions, I'm thinking chakra, she's saying chakra, and I just had a conversation with someone that is one of my mentors, and he was telling me that one of his masters had taught him how to basically throttle the energy in the crown chakra in order to just basically restrict what you're sending out. And so I'm thinking, well, when you're meeting someone, if somebody has this, just a lot of the astral, the you know, the animalistic, the action, the physical, and it's all just out there, because there's a lot of pain body going on, a lot of things going on, how you can actually throttle that from coming in. And so I wanted to throw that out for more explanation.
Okay. Any ideas there?
Oh, I get what you're saying. You can feel the energy off people. You can tell from their posture where they may be hurting. If they're hunched over quite a bit, you know that the energy is restricted in the heart.
And how you
know,
can restrict
different
your
things like
own
that.
so that you're basically safeguarding.
So, right, you can help send energy to them and help them heal. And that way, you're not taking on all that emotional pain from them. So there's a lot of potential there, for sure.
You might also, thank you, Mark. Thank you very much.
Sure, sure.
You may also want to think about doing this because, let's face it, you walk down the street of New York City, and you can be picking up an awful lot of stuff. Right? And people ask, like, how do you do that? How do you do that, Gary? Walk down the streets of New York City or any other place like this. It's real simple. The moment I'm in an environment like that, I immediately put a wall around me, and nothing enters or nothing goes out or nothing comes in that wall. So I can do anything I want. I can have a conversation with anyone. I don't pick up anything. If I want to test my environment, I open up the wall a little bit. If I really want to test the environment, I open it all the way. But that way I can go any place, do anything, and never have to worry about where I am. So that's my version of it. Okay? It's kind of cool and think about the chakras and use it that way. But you can also think about like turning a screw or something like this. That's good. That's okay. I think we need to take a trip. This is the day we need to take a trip. That sounds like an old car work. All right, so they're working on us up here, right? You may not be the only one going.
I guess so.
All right. Very good. Okay, any good questions? Anyone else with questions about this?
Oh, I had the question.
Sure.
When you were speaking about the spirit chakra, I guess, right there below the navel. I've been working with that, but I'm not quite getting the feeling yet. So I was just wondering, how does that come about? The feeling of how do you know, is this good for, is this within my prosperity circle, and knowing right away.
Okay. Good question. And we go back to the Santana again. The heart is the intermediary between the physical world and the spiritual world. It's the intermediary. And in your case, right now, it's a big factor right now. So we need to work physiologically on the heart, maybe diet, water, exercise, sleep, maybe nutrients, things like this. And in terms of practice, it's more about getting involved and getting your heart into circumstances and situations so you can feel more. Am I being clear about that?
Okay.
No matter what the situation is, it's not a head issue. It's not just a logical issue we're dealing with, but we're getting our feelings in. Now, the issue could be that you could go overboard with those feelings. Okay, but I would rather go overboard and throttle them back than to keep them repressed and not have this working at all very well, because this is trying to get through, the Spirit's trying to send the information up. So we get it into the brain about what to do, and it's being stopped right here. That's what you're showing. Stop right here. It's being filtered too much at that point. Okay.
Is this referring to whether you're a heart person or a brain person when we?
In this case, it doesn't
down?
matter. In this case, it won't matter. Okay. Yes.
I guess I have a question for Marco.
Please.
Is there a particular book or author that you like best that talks about the chakras? Because I could kind of use a refresher course on all of that. It's been a while.
There's a great book. I learned a lot about chakras in the autobiography of a yogi. There's a really great section in that book that talks about the cosmic man and the different astrological connections to the chakras on both sides, the front and the back. That's a great book. There's also a book called, there's a book, Kabbalah, by Marianne, I think it's Prophet. It talks about the chakras that are happening not only in your body, but out of your body, things like that. That's a really good book. Just a couple references there.
Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions? Okay, so it's clear about where we're going and kind of some of the initial ideas about what to do with this. It's pretty clear then. Okay, now let's go on to manifesting. I want to cover what we did last week. I just want to review this for you so we can finish with this, and I'll take you into where we're going with this next week also. Okay, so what I'm saying is that in order to clean out this brain and heart, and also to prepare this energetic environment, and I don't care where we're talking about, on the other side of the moon to another galaxy, I don't care, even right next to you. But one of the best ways I've found so far is to follow the simple 4-step process. Okay? So the first thing is we're going to claim our space. Now, for the people that haven't been here before, is it clear when I say about claiming my space what this means? Is that clear? Let me give you an example. Okay, so one way of claiming your space would be that if I want to make sure that this environment is clean, bright, it's free of antagonism, dark forces, demons, things like this, what I would do is, in my mind, I would say that I'm going to claim this space as one of maybe a number of places that I'm going to work with later, according to this technique. I would claim where I'm living. I'd claim where I'm working. I would claim where people are living near, like where they're living. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else need a
I
copy of
think
this?
the other,
Anybody need?
All the other new people that need the 4 steps in writing maybe?
Yes. Okay, so this is step 1. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Chair. So, claiming a space means, in general, what you're doing is you're claiming where you're living, where you're working, maybe people that are there that you'd like to have better relationships with, where they're living and working. Any place that you may be frequenting, I don't care what you're claiming. But the idea is that if you were to walk into that space, that you would be at peace in that space, that everyone would be in agreement with you. It would be easy, it would be simple, it would work very quickly. Now, AJ, looks like you're thinking quite a bit. Question about this?
No, I'm just thinking.
Okay. Maybe what's the term?
Apparently I'm thinking out loud.
He's thinking well out loud.
Or we think about throttling back somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm not hearing you. Some people are hearing you, but the rest of us aren't.
He's another Cancerian, just like I am, so I'm picking him up like that. Okay, so is it clear about cleaning your space? Now, as we do this work, cleaning your space, and this is where it's getting very interesting, because now we're really beginning to put some meat to this. As we're claiming our space, it may not mean just the immediacy, like within today or a few days from now, even the past or present. We may be going back into time of conception. We may be going into past lifetimes. We may be going into miasms, like coming from family members and other issues like this. We're going to be doing a lot more advanced work as we do this. But right now, claiming your space is more or less along the lines of just thinking about what's happening to you right now or a few days from now in either direction, past or present, or future. Am I making my point that this can be extremely powerful? Okay? No matter how we use this is very, very powerful. So that's our first thing. Then the second thing, step 2, is we're going to clear our space. Okay? Now, in step 2 about clearing our space, what I would suggest is that no matter how we start this process, and I want to make sure that I cover this because this is very, very important. I would suggest strongly, because I've been doing this lately and I want to make sure that you think of this too. I would suggest before you do any of these steps that you are in agreement with God, Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit, angels, or anyone else that you worship. I don't care what your God is. But you agree with them that you're going to allow and give permission to them to help you go through these 4 steps. This is extremely important. We are not doing this on our own. This is not us doing this. We are utilizing these forces around us. Call it spirit, call it God, I don't care what you call it. But we're utilizing this to help us because we want to make sure our lives go smoothly and easily. This is not about us. This is about letting them help. Am I being clear about this? So I would do that first before I would even claim my space. I want to make sure I cover that. Okay, so now I've claimed my space, and I would clear my space. Now what I'm doing with this is real simple. I would imagine in my mind that I've got a large sphere. And within that sphere, all those places I've thought about, and any people that are there, and any of the locations I've been thinking about, I put all of those into that large sphere. What I would do then is I would imagine in my mind I had a large vacuum system or a vacuum cleaner attached to that large sphere. When I do that, I imagine that all the poison that's within those areas, the dark forces, the demons, the angers, the fears, any of the things that are creating problems, I don't care what they are. In my mind, I see all of that coming out as a dark, thick goo that is being drawn out of there so I can use my evacuation methods to get it out so that area now is clean, it's bright. And I keep doing it until I'm relaxed. Now, how long does that take? That's up to you. It could take a minute. It could take a lot longer. And as I'm seeing now, if we're really going back in time, far beyond conception, it could take quite a while to get all that done. How will you know? How will you know it's done? You'll feel better. Things will be much easier. You'll be breathing better. You'll know, your spirit will tell you it's time to move on. Just move on. It's real simple. Okay? Clear? Okay? All right? So, next step. Okay. We're going to now go to the furnace. Okay? We're going to go to the furnace and we're going to burn off our stories.
Aren't we on number 2? Ask for support.
Well, okay, I think we got that in the beginning.
That was part of.
Okay, that was in the beginning, about asking,
we kept
asking
that
God.
of that, okay,
Okay.
got it.
Okay, asking God, Jesus Christ, and
We
the other
need to
spirits.
do the grounding ourselves and.
You can, if you want to. I'm just trying to keep this as
Yeah.
simple as I possibly can
Perfect.
for right now. Yes, yes, yep. Okay, so now we're going to go to the furnace. So in the first 2 steps, we're clearing the environment. Like we said, the environment as well as our stories are going to affect how well we're going to transmit and receive the information through this antenna. How well are we cleaning these 2 areas out? We have environmental influences. We've taken that into consideration, steps 1 and 2. And then the stories also, the internal stories that we have. The should haves, the would haves, the could haves. So what we're doing in step 3. Step 3, we imagine that there's a furnace right here at the level of the waist. Okay? A white hot furnace. And we're going to give permission so that the moment we open the doors to this furnace, whatever these stories are, we don't care what they are. We don't care how far back they're going. We're going back to the stories and the origins of these stories, and we're going to allow them from the top, from the bottom of our feet to the top of our skull and everything in between. The moment we open that furnace, those stories go in and they are 100% totally incinerated. Okay? Give them permission to be totally 100% incinerated. Now, in the process of this, we are staying in forgiveness, joy, and gratitude. We're replacing all of these areas in our body that have held on to this story, and all those areas in our body system, our physical body system, that are trying to stop us. We're now replacing it with our forgiveness, our joy, our gratitude, as those stories are being incinerated. Okay? Now, how do you know when you've done each story? Well, your spirit will tell you. Things are finished. You'll feel again more relaxed. You'll know it's time to move on. And you might be able to do 2 or 3 stories. I'm seeing that in the office here I can generally do anywhere from 4 to 6 stories. Now, because in the office we only have so much time, I'm keeping most people in a short time period, less than the time of conception, maybe going back midlife. And if we do that, then the stories that we're eliminating will drop down from 100% total saturation, like when we start. They may have anywhere from 20 to 60% of the story left by the time we're finished with our procedure. Okay? Now, the point of it is, it's important for you to go home and practice, practice, practice. Because as you practice this, it can go from 60% down to 40 and then lower and lower and lower until it's completely gone. It doesn't come back. You just need to practice. It's real simple.
When I do this,
Yeah.
I usually am very specific and I say something to the effect, I want to deal with it, I want it done in all time, places, dimensions, realms, and beyond, and wherever else I go.
Right.
No. Heard and unheard, and seen and unheard.
Good, that's good. That's very good. Kathleen, how long does it take for you to do that?
Well, when I do all these, I didn't realize what I was doing until I came to this class, but I do claim my space, I clear the space, ask for the support, etc.
Yeah.
It usually takes me about 15 minutes, because I'm going through a whole sequence.
Okay, all right. That's good, that's very good. That's very efficient, but she's been practicing this for how long?
Oh, good God.
Yeah,
7 years or so, and also, which do you say a monkey brain, so I need 15 minutes to do it.
well, this is very good, very good. And maybe you also cleared out a lot in between those 7 years now.
And I also, ask for,
Right.
when I go into cleanse, okay, I cleanse not only my stories, but I memories,
Right,
okay, programs,
right,
okay,
right.
behavior patterns,
Good,
okay,
Very nice.
okay,
very nice.
sound symbols, energies, entities, I'm clearing them all out, I'm specifying them, and I'm saying I want organic and inorganic, alien and human. I don't know who's there, I don't want to know, I just want to quit.
Covering it.
Roto-rooter.
That's pretty amazing. That's good, that's very good.
Very
And
thorough.
when you're done with that, Kathleen, when you're done with that, when you finish that, you feel pretty good then, right?
Yes, because I'm bringing in energies also that are supposed to purify and cleanse me,
Right,
okay, and usually when I go through that, okay, I can feel the calmness, and then I know I'm centered, then I ask my questions.
very
So
good.
then when my husband asks me out of the blue, what's going to buy this car, I'm sitting there saying, I need at least 15 minutes to sit down. I might need more like a whole day.
Because you're going back 45 to 60 million years ago, and it takes time. And you want to buy a car until you're done with this. This is good, this is good. AJ?
So, in the first iteration of the class, you mentioned about visualizing this hand, the higher power kind of going through your clearing.
Right.
Is a furnace a substitute for that?
The vacuum is.
Well, the furnace actually, because now we're going internally. That hand went internally.
Right.
Okay, so the furnace is the equivalent, the closest we can get towards turning on our capabilities by burning off these stories.
So it would be the same result regardless of which method.
Yeah, it's just that when that hand went into my body, everything was instantaneous. It was just instant. Okay. Now, the issue with this is this, and here's my concern about going back in time, and why it takes some time. Kathleen has been doing this for a long time, and a lot of us here have been doing this meditation for quite a while. When you're starting this, what I'm finding is we can only handle and remove so much of this story, of these stories, at one time. We can only do so much. We still have to keep our identity of who and what we are. So in general, okay, step four. We imagine we have a prosperity circle in front of us. Remember what prosperity is: health, wealth, relationships, and time. And every decision we make must be based upon having all four of those elements equally well. Equally well. Since I've been using this concept of prosperity now, it's amazing how fast I'm getting the answers, because we were all born to have prosperity. Every one of us. It's far better and more efficient to work that way than to worry about isolated areas that won't give us prosperity, no matter how much of the individual elements we have. So I see the circle. I see the prosperity circle. I see myself standing on that circle. You are always on your own circle, always. And then whomever else, whatever else was in steps 1 through 3, put them on there with you. Now, I'm encouraging people to start thinking of having a fire hose, and you're spraying everyone on that circle, including yourself, with liquefied gold. Why gold? Why? Value. Value. Gold has gotten the attention of every civilization since the beginning of man. Gold is one of the reasons why the aliens come to this planet. Okay? Even in the far reaches of the galaxy, gold is a universal language. Okay? When you're spraying, I know Kathleen and I are pretty similar in other respects. When we're
And I
spraying,
removed the implants too,
there
Gary.
you go. Oh, very good. That's even better. Very good. Okay. So if I'm spraying that gold, I want to make sure that all of those people, places, and things are at attention, and they're working with me, because as I'm spraying that gold, I am praising them. I am praising every person, place, and thing on that circle, just like I did the gentleman who owned that building. I am giving gratitude to this. I'm always forgiving them and myself. I'm also praising them and myself. I'm also giving gratitude for them and myself as I'm doing this. Now what I like to do is, for me, I do this early in the morning, these 4 steps, and then I'm working all 3 of those steps, steps 2, 3, and 4, all through the day, but especially step 4. Even though I'm talking to you, I have all of you in my circle, and I've been praising you since we started this conversation. Okay? So you can be at your job and be in step 4 and constantly praising whoever you're talking to, as well as the other people in the group, and watch what happens now to the effectiveness of what you're doing. Watch how much better they are acting with you, and the way the situations move much faster. Watch. Now you're shaking yes.
No.
Why are you doing that?
Well, when I have difficult patients, I sort of use this method, and I am completely amazed how their attitude turns around when I go in, and I'll sit out in my car before, even though I've done it earlier. They'll be a different person almost when I go in.
Yeah, it's almost amazing.
It almost went exactly how I made it in my mind. It's great.
It's fantastic, and it's easy to do. Thank you. Thank you. So are we clear about this? About what to do?
So, I would want a little bit more clarity, because I think I might have missed this prosperity
Okay.
circle. So you draw a circle,
Uh-huh.
okay, you make sure the elements, health, wealth, relationships, and time are all in there and balanced equally.
Right.
Okay, you're using a fire hose to spray this, and you're using this for whatever specific stories you want to work on.
Yep, whatever they are.
And I have to say that even though I do a lot of globals, I do have to do specific ones and address specific ones, because it seems like they need more work.
That's
Especially
possible.
when they go all the way back.
Yeah,
Back.
yeah, and that's possible. What I've
Do you
seen.
put people in this too?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay.
People, pets, locations, I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. They're on that circle. What I found, and I'm just starting this now, I've tried this on a couple of people, but I've actually taken one person back over 10 million years ago, over one issue, just one issue, which was the most important issue. We went back over 10 million years, and normally there's some residue. When we did one issue, went back over 10 million years, and it took roughly about 20 minutes just to do that one, just to do each step. It took almost 20 minutes for each step. Well, when we finished, it was completely gone. There was no residue. When we got to step 4 and finished step 4, everything was done. No residue. Well, we went back 20 million years, one issue, and we completely resolved it. And when I looked at her body, where the problem was in her body, there was a big energetic hole right where she was having her issues, her physical issue. A large hole in that spot. This is pretty interesting stuff that we're doing. And where it's going to take us, it's up to our imagination. There's no limit to this. Okay. So, Sam.
So if there's no residue, and she didn't lose her identity.
Right, because we agreed that we're going to be as far as she could go back to get rid of this, and she held on to the other concepts that she had to eliminate also. We didn't deal with those, we just dealt with one, just one. And it was the right one, so it worked. So where this could go in all different fields, I have no idea at this point. But Einstein proved that this would work. He created a science out of it, special and general theory of relativity. We know it works. We know that quantum biologists, we see the effects in quantum biology. In quantum field theory, we've seen this by doing experiments as physicists. We've seen how our thoughts are affecting the experiments. We've seen how our thoughts are affecting living organisms, even if it's under a microscope. We've seen this, okay? Now we are taking charge of it. Because I gotta tell you, I love technology. I really do. I enjoy technology. I love looking at something that's well built. But compared to what's inside of you, and compared to what you're capable of doing, there is nothing we've made as human beings up to this point, and will never make, that's better than you. Never. So 25 years ago, I made a bet that we could figure this out, and the quality of that bet was based upon believing in us, that there was something magnificent trying to communicate with us. We now know what it is. We now have an understanding of how to work back with it, of how to change our life. Now, this has been an interesting road. It's been a pleasure working with all of you, okay, because you now are going to be taking it and going off somewhere and helping others, and we're just starting this. So, Sandra, may I?
I have one question
Yes.
here. We didn't touch the ask for support to be grounded and connected. And then there was something on the spiral thing here saying understanding grounded.
Okay.
Is this
I'm going to
part-
leave that.
this
I'm
way?
going to leave that alone for a while.
Okay,
Okay. Right now, we've got more than enough to handle.
okay.
More than enough. Okay. So, right now, are there any other questions? Pretty good.
So you're basically letting go of the God's hand swooping down, and it's
I'm trying to make this a lot easier.
to the furnace.
A lot easier. Okay. Okay. So I tell you what, I'd like to be out of here, so we're staying pretty much on time. Do you think we could do a pretty quick meditation? Go through the 4 steps?
Yes,
About
well,
5-10 minutes?
want me to do the healing meditation?
Can we do it in about 10 minutes?
We can do it quickly.
Okay, then let's do it.